This just in! Benjamin Netanyahu starts OnlyFans with the Island Boys and Bonnie Blue in desperate bid to recapture free-falling American support. Jeffrey Epstein spotted on a beach in Serbia sipping martinis with Tupac and Elvis. Einstein's great-nephew creates cure for herpes and AIDS while also making men's penises 3 inches longer and taking 2 inches off a women's waistline, but is forced to destroy all research after involved call with the Bilderberg Group. Moons had to crash out into Earth after intercepting doom-scrolling radio waves. And new J&J hair tonic found to only contain hair and no tonic at all. False advertising or a sign of things to come? Find out as we go above the bell curve. I'm gonna bring that back. Micro-propaganda is something I've been thinking on a lot. Like, Osmongold is micro-propaganda for slobs who have ruined their limbic system with excessive gaming and or gambling and now live like absolute pigs. Null and his recent direction of Kiwi Farms is micro-propaganda for psychopaths who want to kill children and rape with impunity. And there's a lot of people on the website that are very upset with the direction that the website has gone recently. For whatever reason, he's decided to stop following his mission statement of "we just want to laugh," which is the mission statement that I subscribe to. And following the eccentricities of humanity, even if peeling through the data is tedious sometimes. It's work that people are willing to do. All he does now is take viral clips and share them, copy-paste what's in the Maddie thread, and serve his donors, which have waged a multi-front war on Kiwi Farms to attack people like me and drive us away while paying him thousands of dollars, pennies in the long run, to say what they want. And by the way, like whether it's Bitcoin or what have you, these are still Zimbabwe dollars. You know, some people are just ugly, inside and out, and that causes agitation. You can be ugly on the inside and beautiful on the outside. You can be ugly on the outside and beautiful on the inside. Many such cases. But beauty, despite the Frankfurt School's religious preaching against it, and associate brutalist architecture and utterly uninspiring art, beauty is an inherent feature of nature. Some people hate nature. They are in this religion. But that just attunes them away from their instinctual desire to be and be around beauty. When you're ugly on the inside, and you're on the internet seeing people who are beautiful on the outside all the time, even if they're ugly on the inside, and you're not beautiful on the outside either, yet that's been shown to you as a social value, it stings. It causes discomfort that crescendos into agony. You lash out. You harm other people, whether it's psychologically or physically. And financially, it's technically both for a vast majority of people, at least not people like me who have managed to carve out a portion of life outside of the financial system. Unfortunately, a lot of people are controlled by finances. Hell, I think most modern economy isn't about making money, but having enough control over the financial system that people use to allow the operators to hurt those people, whether deliberately or randomly. As I said, the cruelty is the point. Funny thing, Muslims don't like dogs as much as we do, but they love cats, absolutely adore them. And the Muslim equivalent of a pit bull is a lion, but even the lion isn't as mall-happy as a poorly trained pitty. I pity the fool. There are Westerners who are comfortable with shooting women who have their hair covered because they've become so porn sick that and adjacent television programming that if they can't view women as a sexual object, they have no reservations about killing them, which when taken to its root expresses an ease of desecration that can spiral very, very easily into worse and worse behaviors, such as killing children. Want to know one of the things that makes women particularly physically beautiful? It's a moderate presence of small fat cells. You see, depending on a variety of factors that include hormones, food quality, and exercise, fat cells can either be small, medium, or large, contiguous cells. You see, the cells themselves actually aren't any different. They just swell or they shrink, depending on a variety of factors. Small fat cells, especially those distributed through the muscle evenly, create a soft estrogen-rich flesh that is almost radiant when you look at it. Whereas large fat cells create a belarded, cancerous mess that droops and sags. Small fat cells lend bounce, whereas large fat cells, well, sag. And it's fascinating how your body replaces all the cells outside of your brain within a 7-year period. Ergo, there is no such thing as an ugly body, just an improper biological management. Remember this, my friends. Before you judge, remember this. Before you judge yourself, before you judge others, remember this. If you love a woman, but she's ugly as hell, guess what? You can change that. So don't be a pussy. Alright? Alright. Oh, and men. How you exercise is incredibly important too. Going too fast causes nasty little knots instead of the svelte layers of bands. And the latter is far harder to allow you to become injured. Proper form. Look at that form! Patience and diligence. And my personal method, which was, well, my gym got torn down, but it was to bump up the weight by 5 pounds every set so that your final rep is excruciating and pushing the limits. And like on those last couple of reps, you can cheat a little bit, but form is super important. And if you cheat, make sure you're not going to injure yourself. As in, like, you know, arching your back just a touch, just to get that last little finish line accomplished. Depends. You'll have to judge that based on yourself. I would recommend against cheating, but to, like, instead of cheating, just bump down the starting weight a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Literally, like, baby steps. Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Consistency, diligence. That's exactly how you actually build anything, regardless of what it is, across the board. Men should know this. Most men do know this. Instead of the opposite, which is ease of access, which trains your muscles to become less endurant, you increase through the exercise to train your muscles to become more endurant. It isn't just protein and exercise. You have to work on it. You have to manage it. You know, Roger Stone always struck me as a complete degenerate. He's always hanging around young men, sometimes half naked. He's got a tattoo of Richard Nixon on his lower back. You look into his eyes, you see a sort of droopy, sickly, inner sadness about. But his mouth, around there is a sort of Netanyahu smirking demon aspect, which, you know, that guy's in his flop era for sure. Personally, I think Trump's kind of just telling him what he wants to hear. But for the most part, he's pretty pissed off with the fact that he's involved in this Epstein shit. I'm sure he knows where it comes from. It's very easy for him to find this out even before he was president. And of course, he just took care of the problem before the problem started mouthing off at him. However, the creator of this problem is running out of fuel. And I think that's very important. Hell, even Ben Shapiro has made his voice less nasally recently. Every time I hear Josh's voice, it's like nails on a chalkboard. It's so bad. And I also found out that my mom is actually taller than Null, and my mom is pretty short. But that's not something he can control. He can control his bloodlust. He just chooses not to. And as a fully grown adult, he will suffer greatly from the consequences of his actions. People will assume, rightly so, that he has not changed from his past as a collector of child torture porn. He will not fool a blessed soul with his Christianity costume. He will be targeted for his behavior, and he deserves it. I know it's a bit ironic saying this after that, but you get what you give. You give love, kindness, joy, effort, unity, comedy, decency, and the like. you get it back just the same. Same goes for parasitism, hatred, violence, depravity, destruction, sloth. I have received a tremendous amount of knowledge and honesty in my life. This likely stems from reading a ton, even if it didn't always intrigue me. I never had anyone direct me towards enjoyable reading material. I kind of just found my own way. And that set a tone for many other things. I didn't get lessons for cello until I had already played it for 7 years. I've never had long-term friends, yet I experience love every time I interact with somebody with light in their eyes. But I have a lot of pain too. Like little bits of glass in my head, I can feel my heart rate spike when people act poorly towards each other. I start to sweat and feel myself losing control and will intervene if it gets too bad. In many ways, my life isn't my own, yet I adhere to free will as dogma, because I am attuned enough to see the strings but not surrender to them. I wish I could have helped Null. Frankly, even if Maskell was right about him being a pedophile, I still could have tried to save him, and save any person he would go on to abuse. But I saw the wills exercised. We are tiny, compared to the will of those demons of possession, those that possess individuals then seek to possess others through time. I could not free him. But he still has the power to free himself. Even now, ever bearing the scars of every mistake he's ever made, or he can continue down the path of spiritual destruction and addiction that he's in, weighing his soul down like lead. When it's time to leave his body, what will happen? And don't you dare get it twisted and think that any of us are different from all those who came and went before us. It will sink. The ancients would say your soul has to be weighed against a feather. If you were found wanting, you'd be destined for the river of damned souls. Christ came. He freed those trapped in Sheol through the miraculous method of spiritual attunement and faith towards the one fount of wisdom, the one seed of truth, the one sword of life, source of life. God, the everlasting and almighty Father. We have it easy now. We have it easy now. Why must people fall? Why must people fail? It's very, very simple. And yet over and over and over again, we shirk our responsibility until the entire human race is occluded from the vision of divinity, until the river of damned turns into an ocean. Why must this be? You know, I respect the God is everything schizos so much more than that God determines everything psychos. The former implies a deep respect for all creation, and when tempered with an acknowledgement of your scale in the grand scheme of things, the secret to eternal happiness. God determines everything is weak, narrow-minded, and an excuse to give in to whatever impulse you feel without weighing it against other options. No coincidence that spoiled, rotten societies clutch on to the psychopathic predestination, and healthy, happy, long-lasting societies revel in the deep appreciation of schizophrenic universal oneness. Just a thought. Sus is good lingo because it means suspicious or suspect. Love it when that happens. But most importantly, if anybody ever says it means only one and not both, this is the dumbest guy in the room. Valuable knowledge. Alright, y'all. I'm going to leave you off for today. It was a fun episode. Very, very short. Very condensed. Alright, y'all. Take care. Cheers.